What is up, everyone? Luke McGuire here, and welcome to the Social Influencer webinar and the Instafamous introduction webinar as well. And we'll get to about all that in a second. But what I want to start off with saying here is this actually isn't a live webinar that you're watching right now. That was earlier today, and unfortunately the recording messed up. However, this is going to work out good for anyone watching this replay here because I'm going to cover all the exact same content we covered in the webinar today, except it'll be cutting it straight to the point without me jumping in and out of comments, hanging around waiting for people, answering the same questions quite a few times and whatnot. So it's going to get to the meat of it. You can watch this as many times as you want. So I'm excited for today. I hope you guys are as well. And now let's get started talking about what social media influencers are. I asked people live on the webinar today if they knew what an influencer was. Some people said yes. Some people said they had no idea, which was amazing. The people that had no idea, that they were excited to come on to our webinar and learn about something new. And if you don't know what an influencer is yet, then I'm excited to be sharing this with you today because it's one of my favorite ways of marketing online, not just on Instagram, but on social media in general. And we'll get started to talk about that in a second. So let me pull up a Word document here of notes that I said today. When it comes to traffic methods, I asked everyone to let me know in the comments what traffic methods are they using to get traffic to their actual sites. So people said Facebook and Instagram ads, Google traffic, Insta Easy, manual engagement, blogs, solo ads, paid traffic, email traffic. The one congruent thing about all of these different areas is that the traffic being sent in most cases, unless you have a very warm email list, is that all this traffic is usually cold traffic. So when you put an actual ad in Facebook, the people that have seen it or that are going to see it, they aren't familiar with your brand. They haven't built trust yet, which is why people create funnels. We talked about funnels last week because you want to take a cold lead who knows nothing about you to trusting you, to liking you, to following you, and then buying from you. So I did an example here. So for example, the idea of any traffic method, any cold traffic method, is you get them in by a free gift, for example, like we showed last week's webinar. So you do an opt-in page with a free gift, a free ebook, a free membership, a free trial, whatever it might be. That warms that audience a bit more to liking you because you've given them something for free. Then you might provide them a value video training that warms them a bit more. Then you can sell to that warmer audience and your conversions are going to be a lot better because you have a warmer audience. Now, this is my favorite thing about Instagram influencers and social influencers, is that the traffic you're going to be getting is already warm. So let's have a look at what an influencer is first. So basically what I consider an influencer is someone who has a following already, or a warm following. So I used for an example, celebrity endorsements is a great way to look at an influencer. They were kind of the olden day influencer now, even though that sounds weird to say. People follow, so say for example, I was Justin Bieber and I held a Red Bull can, or actually even if I held a completely random energy drink can that no one's ever heard of, just because Justin Bieber is holding that drink can, all of his fans who are warm to him, they like him, they trust him, they then want this drink because it's in his hands, right? So his legitimacy passes over to the brand. Whereas if I took the actual can of drink or whatever it is and tried to market it without any endorsement that way, it's not going to be a warmer list. You're going to have to provide free samples. You're going to have to try to give them an incentive to pick it up, to warm to your idea. So obviously we can't all go out and get Justin Bieber to promote our products, right? But we are in such a great day and age right now that on Instagram specifically, but also on YouTube, also on Twitter, also on Facebook, there are influencers, and in the modern day celebrities, really, they basically are celebrities in their own right. They're called Instafamous and whatnot, which is why I call my product Instafamous. I'm giving you all for free later in this video. So first of all, there are two types of influencers on Instagram. The first type being an actual person. There are people on Instagram that have tens of thousands of followers in every single niche that you can imagine. We'll go through some a bit later on in this video. But a person is the first type of influencer. So they have their own profile, their own page. They endorse specific products, specific brands, specific areas that they're interested in. For example, my girlfriend, she has, I think, 70,000 followers on Instagram. and people send her clothes all the time to model in on Instagram. People send her watches. They send her different brands and products and websites and app downloads to shout out. And as long as it's congruent with her brand and her message, she's happy to promote that, and she gets paid for that, or she gets given a free clothing or whatever the free deal might be. Now, this can be taken to a very extreme level. I know some influencers, they get sponsored by Porsche and they drive Porsches around. I know influencers that get traveled around the world to be taken as travel bloggers and stuff. And this all starts with Instagram. And this is a great way. I'm going to show you in this webinar how you can take advantage of these influencers, find ones that do want to be contacted in multiple niches. We'll go through a bunch of examples. And then how we can strike deals with them. So the first type of influencer is a personal profile. So someone that has their face to it, that's an influencer, which is very much like a celebrity endorsement. Now the second type is a branded account or a niche type account. So I have a few examples here. Luxury Instagram account. So an Instagram account, there are many Instagram accounts out there that have hundreds of thousands, millions of followers that don't have a face to it, but it's more of a luxury lifestyle brand in that example, or a travel Instagram account, or a dog training Instagram account. Or in the webinar today, we found there was influencer pages on drones. So people that are posting pictures of drones on their drone profiles, and it has tens of thousands of followers. Now, these are all branded accounts that don't have a face to it, but you can use these exactly the same as if you would use a personal branded account for your shout-outs, for your celebrity endorsement, essentially. And again, we're going to go through some demos of that in a minute now. So let's just say, for example, I want to see where I got up to here. Let's actually go out right now, and we'll go have a look at some types of different Instagram accounts. So first of all, what I wanted to share with you guys is an example here. Not this one yet, but I'm going to show that in a second here. So Kylie Jenner, for example, she actually created a lip kit from Alibaba. It was a lipstick thing. Promoted it through her own Instagram account, and it sold out within 2 minutes. Hundreds of thousands of units gone. They were selling for 10 times the price online, which is pretty on eBay. Sorry, which is pretty crazy. Now let's go have a look at Kylie Jenner. Is it Kylie or Kylie Jenner Instagram? Now, obviously that's her promoting her own product, but these two guys I'll show you over here in a second, they have a company called Hi Smile. Oh, this is the company here, for example. They're selling teeth whitening kits, and they actually paid Kylie Jenner stupid amounts of money. Well, it's not really stupid because it made them a lot of money by doing so, but tens of thousands of dollars. But you see, she has 91 million followers. She has 3 million likes a post, almost 250,000 comments on that one, over 250,000 comments there, 2 million likes there, and so on and so forth. What's this one here? She's got nails done. And some of these she'll be promoting products, some of these she won't be. And you'll see she'll break it up. And if you watch closely, so here's her own product here. 1 million likes on this actual blushes, whatever that is, maybe makeup brushes, I don't know. But you get the idea that if you can get your product in the hands of influencers, this company here, the teeth whitening company, ended up making $10 million in a couple of years, or 2 years or something. And the guys are quite young. These are the two guys here that got her posting it with the actual product here. Now, let me show you an example of how they got this product. For example, let's go to Alibaba. I'm going to type in teeth whitening kit. And I can pick up teeth whitening kits. Here's a similar one here, your logo and stuff. For $1.90 to $4 per pack, right? Which is pretty damn good. And there's different companies out here that do their teeth whitening kits. Here's one very, very similar. Has a little mouth thing. Has the pens there. Let's have a look what it looks like through here. Very, very similar. Little brand on there, little brand on there. Exactly the same as here, little brand on there. And this is, they're selling it for $80, I think I saw it for, $80. And you can get it over here for, on this one here, $7.50 a piece. So they're making quite a substantial markup there on that product. They then went to the celebrity endorser of Kylie Jenner, and then ended up making a crazy amount of money. So yes, they'd had investment first to pay her, but the actual return on the investment was absolutely insane for them. And it's kind of set them as a leading teeth whitening company here in Australia, when really their product most likely just comes from Alibaba, from one of these different things. Very, very simple and easy to do. Here's a very similar example that they have. This one's called, what do I call this one? Hey White. So instead of Hi Smile, Hey White. Exact same thing there. And that's as easy as it is to get that done. So pretty cool, right? So that's one example there. But let's go in and find some everyday influencers on Instagram itself, so I can show you exactly how you find them and how you then actually contact them, network with them, how you negotiate a deal, what influencers are right for you and what are not. So for example, I'll show you one other example actually. This girl called Tammy Hembro. Really cool what she's been able to do. A couple of months ago, she only had 3 million followers, and it's just exploded for her. She has 2 kids. She's famous for being a bit of an Instafamous mum. Again, 500,000 followers. She lives around the corner on the Gold Coast here. She lives on the Gold Coast where I live. And she makes an absolute killing from this. Now, I'm not saying go out and try to make a profile like hers. I'm saying you can get people like Tammy here to promote your products. So, for example, here's 1.9 million views for some beauty makeup blender thing here, which is crazy, right? I'm pretty sure she charges a lot of money. She's got a crazy car. She's very, very young. So she obviously makes a lot of money from it, and she has 6 million followers. But I'm going to show you right now how you can then find other people that are similar to these influencers and contact multiple people at once to start to strike deals with them all. Now, what I want to say here is a big question today is, what do I consider an influencer? And that's going to be very specific to what niche you're in. For me, I look at it as if an Instagram page has 10,000 followers or above, that's what I consider an influencer. But in saying that, if I'm looking for if I'm in a very, very specific niche, like for example, I don't know, maybe like cuckoo clocks or something really bizarre and left to center, maybe 5,000 followers could be considered an influencer. It's whatever you see as enough people for your niche to get out there into that actual space. And when you pay these influencers, the return on investment is going to be good enough for you. So anyway, what I suggest doing is, if you're in the fitness niche, whatever niche you're in, go and Google and find at least 3 different influencers. For example, if I went to Google, I could type in fitness influencer accounts. Top 16 fitness influencers, for example. Or I could type in top dog influencer accounts. Top dog influencers to follow on social media. I can type in whatever I want to type in. Or, for example, I could go over here into Instamate. If you have Instamate, I hope you all do. Most of you guys do, I know. So I could go here to Discover. I could type, Instagram Finder. I could type in dogs, for example. And it's going to pull up all the different viral trending dog pages that most likely are going to be influencer accounts. So, million followers almost, 500,000 followers, 612,000 followers, whatever it might be. A Dog's Purpose here, 130,000 followers here. So, I can go in here. Let me check what this account looks like. I'm going to open it up here by clicking the link. I'm going to go to this Dogs of Instagram page. So they've got quite a lot of followers, lots of likes, lots of engagement on their posts and whatnot. But say, first of all, I wanted to say this is how you start to contact them. They might have their email address in their description. I'll show you multiple examples of this. I'm not sure if Tammy had hers there. Yeah, Tammy has her email or her website in the description there, and her email as well. Contact them there. The influencers that obviously want to be contacted for shout-outs have their actual email address and contact details there. But if they don't, I'll show you how you contact that in a minute. But say I wanted to find other influencer accounts. All I do, click on the drop-down arrow next to the name of the account, and instantly it's going to show me suggested pages that are going to be similar. And they're always similar in the amount of likes and followers. So 200,000, let me go here. I've got on Retrievers. 475,000. So these are all influencer accounts for dogs. Retrievergram. And again, just keep on going. I'll find different ones. Corgi Planet. 200,000 followers, right? Now, imagine if I contacted these different pages and said, hey, let me go advertise my dog product on your page. This is the shout out I want. And you start to strike a deal, which we'll talk about in a minute. You can see how you can find lots of different influencers here very, very quickly. Now for Tammy, if I hit the drop down arrow again, it's going to show people that are similar to her in terms of followers and whatnot. These people would have a lot of followers, I'm sure. Let's have a look at, I don't know who this is. 300,000 followers. And if they have the plus next to it, means they're verified. 61,000 followers. Email there. Let's go see this person here. Let's have a look at this person. Email there. Let's go down. 12,000 followers. Still an influencer, I consider. Starting to get a bit lower in numbers because the people I'm looking at have lower amounts of followers, which means their suggestions will be similar as well. So here, keep on going. Now I'm in makeup. So this is how easy it is to find different influencers. 64,000, on and on and on. And let's do the example of drones. I found this page before. I typed in drones up here. And then what I can do is go down and search different drone accounts here that might be in that niche, which is a very random niche, but it shows you, let's see, daily drones, 48,000 followers, aerial aesthetics, 40,000 followers. Back to where I was. You get the idea, and you can see some of these will have actual contact details, some won't. This one here, no. Drone Influence has a site where you can contact them there, but if you can't contact them, this is what I suggest doing. Either being on your phone and you can direct message them from your phone, or what you can do is come over here into Instamate and you can search for any of these. So let me search for that actual Drone Influence page. I'm going to go ahead and hit the direct message button here, and I can send them a message which will end up in their Instagram inbox. Now I'll show you again. Let's do cats. I'm going to pull all the top pages here. I can message Cats of Instagram and say, hey, love your page. Would love to see if you offer shout outs. Send that to them or whatever it might be. Start to contact a bunch of these different influencers and start to get an idea of how much they're charging, what type of deal they offer, and start to make some serious money by working with these guys. So you get the idea of how easy it is to find different influencers. Now, what I want to say again, let's just come over here to the Word document again. Let's go over some questions again that were asked today in the thing. So how much do these actual influencers cost? This is going to vary from influencer to influencer, to influencer. Every single person is different, so you're going to have to work with them to see what they charge per post and whatnot. But this is what I want you to think about. Say they charge $30 for a post on their page that has 20,000 followers on their page. What's that going to mean to you? Well, it means for $30, 20,000 people can potentially see your post, because when they do a post on Instagram, it ends up in every one of their followers' news feeds, right? Obviously, after 24 hours, 48 hours, other posts will move it down the feed and whatever, and it's kind of gone, but it'll still be on their profile for in future. But I'll talk about that a bit further in a minute. But what I want you guys to think about is that when that post goes to that user's followers, those followers are warm to that brand most likely. They trust that brand or that person or that profile because they're following them, which means it's a much more high quality lead, a high quality viewer looking at your offer, looking at your product, looking at your service. It's very, very much more warmer than if you did $30 on Facebook ads. You would no way get anywhere near 20,000 users potentially being able to see your post. The leads will be cold and your return on investment won't be that much unless you know how to do Facebook ads extremely, extremely well. But just when it comes to warm list versus cold, the warm is always going to win. So the next point I want to touch on here is actually, before we talk about how do you negotiate with influencers, let me show you a few of the different ways and places where you can actually go ahead and influence with the can go and have your page or profile or website promoted by the actual influencer. So I'll jump back here. So let's have a look at Frank Bod, for example. Frank Bod, coffee scrub company. I use it as an example regularly. Made turnover $20 million a year, these guys do. And you'll see that they use influencers constantly to promote their product, their e-commerce product. Now, if you don't have an e-commerce product, Doesn't matter. Think about how this will relate to you and your business. Say if you had a website that you wanted to get traffic to, there's multiple things you can do there. First of all, you can have them do a shout out to your actual page with your own picture that you send them, for example. You can rent the biography space in their actual Instagram account. You can actually send the people to your Instagram first so you can grow a bigger following on your account. And once you build a bigger following, you can then send them to your actual website link in your description. And that's probably my favorite way to do it. Send them from Instagram to your account. So let's see if this person here is tagged. You can see a little tag option down here. If I click on it, for the label, that wasn't for them. Let's see if this person's tagged. Tagged here. So I won't, this is the actual company tagging the influencer in this picture here. So they're getting traffic for using this shout out. Let's go over here. Let's see what they're promoting. They're promoting different products. So for example, this is a great example here. This Remedy Kombucha, however you pronounce it, they're promoting this product. So rather than this influencer sending people to this brand's website, they're sending them across into their actual profile over here, which means their user stays on Instagram, which they're happy about. People are less likely to leave Instagram unless they really want to, but they're more inclined to go to another page on Instagram so you can build a following. So I can go, okay, wow, cool picture. What's this drink? Let me check it out. Oh, great. Look at this here. Now I can actually follow them here, and then I can go to their website here if I wanted to. And you're building your own following by sending traffic through influencers to your brand and then send them to your website there, which is a really neat way to do influencer marketing. Now, again, alternatively, you could go back, to this user and say, hey, I want to rent your biography space because you don't have a clickable link here at all. Can I potentially pay you X amount a day to have my link in here? And you do an update here saying, hey, so say for example, Frank Body bought this person's advertisement space here, their one clickable link for a week. They could do 4 posts during that week as updates saying, hey, this is Frank Body, blah, blah. Clickable link is in my biography. Go ahead and do that here. So that's another way you can influence. You can use Instagram for shout outs. So let me just overview that again. I kind of went on a bit of a tangent there. We can sell our clickable link in our description. We can send people to our actual Instagram page by having the call to action as the tag to our page. The third way we can use influencers is by actually renting out their Instagram stories section. So they can upload an Instagram story with our product or service as their actual Instagram story, which we'll talk about in a further video. But the whole idea here is to get your brand, your product, your service, your Instagram account, wherever you want the traffic to go to, into the feed of these users with a call to action in the actual description itself. And people will see the influencer with your product, shouting out your brand, recommending your service, whatever it might be, and then sending traffic through that way there. So that's pretty cool. So let's go talk about quickly, how do we now go about negotiating with influencers? So this is what I want to, this is a cool part of this that I want to actually show you the best way that I found working with influencers. And it's a bit of a little tactic I use regularly, because influencers almost always have a bit of an ego to them because they live for their following. If they have 20,000 fans, that's their life. If they have 100,000 fans, I guarantee you if they lost that page, they'd be crying and feel like a part of their heart's being gone, I guess. So to get the best deal for you, how are you going to do this? Well, I contact a bunch of influencers, and this is going to be homework for you guys. Go out and contact a bunch of influencers and inbox them with something like, hey, I love your page. You have done an amazing job growing it. Can you let me know your prices for your posts, as I would love to collaborate long term with you. Now that's something I would send to an influencer that I know does shout outs for actual products and companies. So for example, this girl does, so I know that she's interested in doing shout outs and whatnot. So that'd be pretty cool. Unlike the drone, I don't know if these guys do shout outs or not. They do shout outs here, but if they didn't, I would then change my strategy and say, hey, I love your page, same things as up here. I was wondering if you offer shout outs on your account or if you have ever considered it. I would love to pay you and work with you long term, as I see a huge potential in your page. So something like that would then spike their interest. And what you've done here is you've positively blown up their ego by saying how amazing their page is and making them feel good. Secondly, you have told them that you want to work with them long term. That instantly makes them think, okay, this isn't a one-time gig. I'm going to give them a better deal than I would if it was just a one-term gig. And then you can then see how the response is from there. And then you can decide if you want to go on for a long-term gig really there. But the intention should be always to work with influencers long-term. Because if it works out for you, they're getting paid. Their customers buying a product that helps them. Everyone wins, right? So that's the type of mindset I go in with there. And then the next thing you need to figure out is what type of post you want them to do. So if obviously, do you want to send them to your Instagram page, to a website, to an offer, to a client site? What is it you're trying to get them to do? And then secondly, this is something that you'll notice on Instagram a lot, is when you start to strike deals, they might say, okay, a permanent post might be $50, for example, which means the post will stay there forever on that user's Instagram account. Now, they also sometimes offer 24-hour posts, 6-hour posts, 12-hour posts. Now, what this means is after 12 hours, they'll delete the post, or after 24 hours, they'll delete the post. And the reason for this is these are not often cheaper because they're not there permanently forever. They're cheaper. But what's good about them also is that because they are cheaper, you can buy more of them. You might be able to buy 2 24-hour posts versus 1 permanent post. And that means when they do the post, it's going to end up in the feeds of the users for say 24 hours. After 24 hours, normally most posts are gone. And like I said earlier, the only way to then see those posts is if people are browsing through the user's profile at a later date, which does happen regularly. But at the same time, if you can get that immediate shock value in the news feed, sometimes a 24-hour post might be suited better for you, might save you a bit of money and whatnot there. But that's something you work out with the influencer, and that's kind of a bit of a thing that goes on with Instagram influencer marketing. Now, once you strike the deal, make it clear. Let them know what text you want to be said with it. Make sure you send them an image if you want them to actually post an image. Sometimes influencers want to use their own images. If you have e-commerce product, you might want to send them a free product for them to actually go ahead and use it and implement it and work with your brand for the long term. And if they love it, then they're going to keep on doing it, right? Or alternatively, if your product's intangible, for example, or even if you're doing an affiliate offer, say I wanted to get a dog training product and sell it on a dog fan page, I could say to them, hey guys, I could say to a dog influencer page, guys, can you go ahead and tell me how much it'll cost for a permanent post on your page advertising this specific link here, and I want this link in your biography for the next week. If it goes well, I'll continue it going on. Then all of those followers will get driven to that affiliate link in their description. You make the commission, the Instagram account doesn't. So you're basically almost Instagram jacking their audience, but you're paying for it, so it's a service, right? That's a cool way you could do it there. And make sure you make it clear the terms, if it's a tag, if it's a shout out, if it's like an endorsement there, if it's a biography space URL you're wanting, if you're wanting to do an Instagram story, whatever it may be there, make that clear for you guys. Now, let me just scroll this down a bit for a second. I'll write some more notes, otherwise my phone keeps on ringing. Now, there are some problems I have found with Instagram influencers, and that's kind of why I've made Instafamous, which I'll give you guys in just a moment, as we're going to be onboarding our first members, which is really exciting. And I'll tell you what Instafamous is in a minute. But some things I found that have been happening with influencers, that management companies. So, management companies, modeling agencies, that type of thing, have been signing up influencers left, right, and center to their management books because they are the new age celebrity and they make people serious money from their cult followings. Now, what this means is you might contact influencers and they'll redirect you to their management team. So that means they might say, hey, every deal I do has to go through this management team. This is their email here. You contact the management team, they tell you some absurd number for a shout out, or it still might be kind of fair, but what's going to happen is that management team, they take 40%, 30% of that actual transaction. So say it was $1,000 for a shout out to 500,000 people, which is extremely good if it's a right, perfect product match fit. There's nowhere else you'll be able to get 500,000 people to see your product for $1 million. Sorry, for $1,000. what I'm going to be with that is if they're taking 40%, that's $400 they're pocketing right away. When you found the influencer, you've got the brand, and they're just pocketing it to do a deal by posting a photo, right? And that absolutely sucks, which is why I came out and created Instafamous. So what Instafamous is, it's going to be the biggest influencer marketplace on the market, which is pretty cool, right? And what this means is it means it basically cuts the management out, a place for influencers and brands to connect. So let me show you an example of it over here. I'm just updating the code. I say you went to Fiverr or something like that. And this is a site where you can get services done like for very cheap, for example, like logos, that type of stuff. But imagine here if I came here and I wanted to find influencers in the fitness niche. I could type in fitness. And then I would get given all this list of different actual fitness people. Obviously, again, this is Fiverr, so it's not that. But fitness people, I can see their profile, I can see their engagement, I can see reviews, I can see past posts they've done. I can then actually strike a deal with them on this influencer network. And on the flip side, if I'm a brand, which I'm sure many of you are, most of you guys are, you can go out and post your job that you want influencers to get. So you could say, okay, I'm looking for 10 influencers in Sydney, Australia that have X amount of followers or above that are in the fitness niche. Instantly, anyone that matches those criteria will then be actually sent your job application, then they'll come to you and their prices and everything's already there. And again, the best part is there's no management team. You work with the influencer directly, and that's how you actually strike your deals. And some really cool things about it as well is it's very safe for you guys being the actual brand and influencer. So what happens is when you strike a deal, you fund the actual project and it gets held in escrow. So the influencer doesn't get paid until the post is actually done. Also, every time a post and deal is struck, it gets added into your calendars. So you can see at this date, on this time, this photo with this text has to be posted here for X amount of time. So you can manage everything very, very easily. You can work with them constantly. You can message back and forth. Your money is always going to be safe. If they don't do the post, you're going to get your money back, everything like that. We've thought about it very, very strongly. One thing I want to say is there is a 5% fee, which is the only fee right now that you guys will have. We're not going to be charging a membership for you guys, being welcoming members. Again, it's all going to be free for you guys. But if you strike deals, there will be a 5% fee. And the reason behind this, guys, it's not for me to make money. It's because it stops me losing money. Because when I hold your money in escrow, when you fund Instafamous for the actual deal, there's a transaction fee there. When the job's done, I pay the actual influencer. Or it's all done automatically, but the influencer gets paid, that's another transaction fee there. And if I didn't charge a 5% fee, then we wouldn't be able to cover that, right? So, but in saying that, all the infrastructure, the logins, absolutely everything, you get free membership for that. So to get that, what I want you guys to do is head over to the link below and you'll get sent this actual Instafamous beta sign up form. This is going to ask you for your name, your details, how many Instagram accounts you have, that type of stuff. So what I want you guys to see here as well is that you then decide if you're an influencer and you're with a big following base and you want to promote other brands, or which most of you I think might be are brands and you're looking for high quality influencers who can promote this to your content to hundreds of thousands of people, for example. So go ahead, fill this out. We'll then onboard you inside of Instafamous for free, guys. Be patient with us. It'll take a little bit of time to do so, but we are ready to go. Now, what's going to happen when we do open this publicly as a beta launch to everyone, to influencers? We have done this in a way that's quite unique. And we want to get influencers very, very excited to be a part of this platform. So what's going to happen is when we introduce you guys into that, we want you to put in your jobs, what you want your influencers to do, what your budget is, that type of thing as well. Just so then when we actually invite the influencers over in bulk to come and join Instafamous, there's going to be jobs waiting for them there for you, from you guys, that you are excited to actually jump in and actually implement. So if you're not ready to create a job yet, you can still sign up, but don't go ahead and post a job yet because We want to have our influencers having a really good time with our brands and start getting some serious results. But I recommend everyone to actually go ahead and start do at least one job, because the actual feedback you'll get is insane with the warm traffic from influencers, and that helps our influencers stay on our platform, use our platform, and make it a really successful launch that we want this to be. So if I get asking it to you for free, we ask that in return, that if you just get a job up there, you're ready to pay an influencer. It doesn't need to be much at all. You can strike deals. Just get ready to have the mindset, what do you actually want to get done? So I am excited for you guys to be a part of this. If you're watching this in the future, by the way, Instafamous probably might be already out. But since today is, what's the date today? It's Thursday, the 13th of April, 2017. That means you might not even need to fill out this form, but in the coming weeks. But for now, jump in here, fill it out. I hope you've learned something from today's lesson. It's been 35 minutes, which is pretty cool. The webinar today went for about an hour, so I'll probably come back with some more little tips and tricks and training that I probably missed out on this little replay here. In saying that, every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, instamate.com/webinar, you can sign up for our weekly webinar series. They'll always change from topic. I'll put the topics in the Facebook groups as the banners. Today was on Instagram influencers. Next week, we're going to look at fan pages and how to dominate fan pages in 2017 on Facebook. Because again, as you might know, Facebook changes very regularly. And to grow a fan page now is a lot harder than it used to be. Well, if you're still using the old tactics. With the new tactics and what works now, it's very, very easy. So I'm excited to teach you guys that. The following week, it'll be a value only, 100% value only, nothing to sell training on e-commerce, and I'm going to show you that. And then the following week after that, we're going to go into further e-commerce advanced training there. So we've got a lot of stuff happening. I've got the following weeks all planned out. I'm excited for it, guys. I'm excited to be working with you here with Instafamous. So the link for this is below this video, somewhere around this video. Sign up to our social profit hours, which is every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm calling it Social Profit Hour from now on, because it's mainly about social media and making profit, and hopefully it only goes for an hour. So in saying that, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this. Go out and contact some influencers right away. Start to make deals with them. Once Instafamous is up, even if you go out and find influencers manually, invite them to be a part of Instafamous, because that's going to be the best place for you to work with them. It'll be much easier to manage, and it helps me out as well. So I appreciate you all so much. Have a good day, and I'll speak to you guys in the next video, and I'll see you then. Bye.